Am I the asshole for telling my half-sisters they need to seek help and leave my mom alone? I'm 19M, and this is about my older half-sisters. My dad had them with a high school girlfriend, but was never in their lives. He'd sleep with her a few times and just never be involved with the girls. She was a train wreck, and he made a promise to her parents that he would take them if she got so bad that they were suffering for it. But he never planned to keep the promise, and he never told anyone about them. Never supported them or anything. So he married my mom, and she had no idea. Then, when she was pregnant with me, the grandparents showed up and said the girls were not being taken care of, and he needed to step up and be their dad. My mom was home on her own and was in such shock. The girls were 6 and 8 at the time and were 7 and 9 by the time I was born, I think. Dad got home after several hours, and once he realized Mom wasn't handling it like some saint, he was just trying to talk her into raising them together. She didn't want to stay with a liar or raise someone else's kids, so she left him and they divorced when I was 4 months old. Your old dad didn't want them either and would allow them to fixate on my mom. He tried to pawn them off on her many times. He'd ask in front of me for her to take them. He tried to get her co parenting the three of us instead of just me. Mom always kept firm and tried to keep that stuff away from me, but my dad never did. Girls spent years wanting my mom to be their mom. They were in their teens and trying to use me to get mom to adopt them and stuff like that. It was sad. It was awkward as hell for me. The pressure was a lot. I hated my dad, and when I was 14, I stopped seeing him, and by extension, the girls, who still lived with him. Then, a couple years ago, they made contact with me and tried to have a relationship again, but they were still so fixated on my mom, and it made me uncomfortable. So I always tried to avoid heavy topics with them. A couple weeks ago, while I was at mom's, they showed up and started yelling at mom, telling her that she was a piece of shit and that she became their mom the moment she married dad, and she should have been there for them. They told her she owed them as much as she owed me, and how could she not love them? I stepped in and told them that they needed to leave and that my mom was not their mom, and they needed to accept that. It took some time, but they left after I told them they needed to seek help and get over their fixation on my mom and learn that she's not theirs. I told them that they needed to stay away from her, leave her alone, and work on themselves. They texted me after saying that I was an asshole just like her and they deserved much better. Am I the asshole? Edit. To answer some of the questions that keep coming up, my mom did not live with them. She was gone when she found out about the lies, and she was not about to be a part of their lives in any kind of parental or familial capacity, even at the start. She left dad and moved out. No trying to make it work, none of that. Their mom was not involved, she was not a good mother, and she didn't want them either. And the grandparents did not stay in their lives either. Am I the asshole for offering to help my wife with the dishes? My wife, 26F, and I, 26M, both work 4 days a week. I work 12-hour shifts and she works 8-hour shifts. She would work more, but our daughter, 1F, needs to be picked up from daycare. I leave for work before they wake up and some days get home after our daughter has gone to bed. This week, our daughter's daycare provider was sick, so my wife took the week off of work to care for her. I worked an extra day to make up for her lost income, so it all worked out fine. Or so I thought. She seemed stressed still, so I asked her what was wrong. She broke down, saying that she is struggling with balancing work, caring for her daughter throughout the week, and keeping our house clean slash cooking, etc. I responded calmly by saying that I can't miss work or reduce hours. We simply cannot afford it. She responded by saying she knows that, but it's still overwhelming for her, and house chores are piling up. I told her 90% of the problems with messiness could be solved if she picked up after herself. If she just put the used butter knives in the sink after she was done, and rinse bottles slash cookware, etc. I will happily do the dishes when I get home from work. Hell, I'll even put them away after, but I do not want to play scavenger hunt and look around the house for things to wash. She didn't respond to me after that, other than a quiet okay before going to console her daughter, who woke up early from her nap. She still seemed upset with me still, so I vented to my coworker about what happened. He says I was being an asshole because I didn't even listen to what she wanted. I feel like I was perfectly reasonable. Am I the asshole? So you're not the asshole for offering to help your wife with the dishes. You're an asshole for ignoring your wife's feelings and just basically just offering to do like the bare minimum. Like, you live in that house too. You should be doing dishes anyway. Like, and why is she going to console your daughter instead of you? Like, do you even care? Am I the asshole for going home when my sister didn't put her dogs away? My wife and I had our first child 3 months ago. My sister lives 2 hours away and has seen my daughter once. My wife, kid, and I made plans to travel the 2 hours to visit my sister. I thought this would be a good opportunity for my sisters to visit with my daughter, and we'd go out to eat or something. My sister has 3 dogs who are her world and have free reign of her place, much to my chagrin at times. They are allowed on the couch, in the kitchen, everywhere. I have visited her and not sat on the couch because I don't want to get dog hair on me. We've had family vacations where she brought her dogs. Everything had to be dog friendly or centric, and I did not enjoy that trip. I've passed on future vacations. There was no point in trying to talk her out of bringing them, plus, I don't want to spend my vacation with her dogs. We arrived, I knock, hear the barking, and tell my wife to hold off on bringing our daughter inside until I know the dogs are in another room. My sister opens the door, greets me, and says, "Come inside." I ask, "Do you mind putting the dogs in another room?" She pauses, goes, "Absolutely not," and looks baffled I'd even request that. I told her that I'm not ready for my daughter to be around 3 dogs. It's only for about an hour and then we're gonna go to lunch. After a bit of back and forth, it's obvious she won't put the dogs away. I just say, "Alright, I'm gonna go head home." I help my wife put my daughter in the car and start to leave. The whole time, my sister is flipping out, saying, "What the fuck?" She says she didn't even get to see her niece, says I'm an asshole, etc. So after 5 minutes at my sister's house, we drove 2 hours back home. I had 2 dozen texts and phone calls from her that I didn't acknowledge. So was I the asshole in this situation? Edit. A few things. The reason we drove to visit my sister is because she expressed to us wanting to come out. She suggested I come to her place. I thought it was no issue to put the dogs in another room for an hour. It's not like we were staying for days on end, it was a day trip. Don't want my kid around dogs right now. When she is older and after I can teach her properly how to interact with them, she is. This isn't about allergies. The dogs behave fine, but to my knowledge, they have never been around babies or children. My wife is not happy, but she supports the no dogs around our baby rule. I'd rather be safe than sorry with my daughter. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I know I enjoyed making it. This look I know is like really simple, but I was honestly in a bit of a rush. I was kind of testing myself to see if I could do my makeup under an hour or like at least in like an hour and a half. And I did it. I made it. So great. I know I'm missing a lip, but that is because I don't know what happened to the file, but I just can't find the clip of me putting on lipstick. But yeah, I hope this video inspired you to make beautiful art with your face. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to get notified of when I post, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!